Finding items in the grocery store has been quite challenging lately, and even in the best of times can be difficult. I've got a few tips that can help you and some points to help you leverage the advantage that you need to get those bigger tips and better ratings. Let's hit it. Before I begin, just a couple of notes. Number one, thank you so much to all the new subscribers that continue to join this channel every day. It's really encouraging, and I appreciate it more than you would ever know. And thank you very much for your comments and feedback along the way. Those are very, very helpful. This has been a very challenging week for me. I've accepted 0 Instacart batches that take me into the grocery store. It's been that slow in my market. I've only done a couple of Warehouse Club orders, and the rest have just been food delivery. So, you know, it's really, really tough. And I know many of you are going through a similar struggle, but I don't know what happened. I have an idea. You have to be close to a particular store, and if you're not close to that store, you're not going to see any of those batches. Well, that's pretty tough because there's 11 Publix stores within a 35-minute drive from my house, and the majority of those are less than 20 minutes away. So I used to be able to sit in my house and get started from there. Not anymore. I have to play Russian roulette and pick a store and hope something's there. And you know what? Most of the time, it's not. So it's a complete waste of my time. A couple of other challenges. Everything that can break this week has been breaking. I still don't have a replacement phone stand for this for the recording purposes. I did have to buy new vent mounts for my phones because 2 of them broke this week. So that's been great. I've had a dead battery, and then I had to fight with a repair shop because they wouldn't replace it under warranty. So I went to somebody else around the street. I had to complain to the manufacturer about the guys who wouldn't replace it and commend those that did. So it's been crazy, and with the holiday weekend, everything's just being pushed back this week. I'll get through it though, and I'm sure many of you know that struggle. So I've been wanting to talk about this for quite some time, and that's finding items in the grocery store. Now, you know that your ratings can depend greatly on whether items are in stock or not, even though Instacart says you won't be penalized for bad ratings due to out-of-stock items. I laugh every time I read that. But even putting that aside, finding an item for your customer can be time consuming. So I'm going to show you a highlight of a clip that I took a few weeks ago when preparing for this topic. And unfortunately, I don't have any other footage to show you from this week because I haven't been in a grocery store thanks to this slow week that we're having. Here's a key thing that really helps me out. Having a hard time finding an item, so you've looked all through here, and you're not finding that Classico 4 cheese. It's just not right before your eyes. So here's what I do. I start looking at these shelf tags. I start reading them. Okay, that's not it. Triple mushroom, spicy red pepper, roast garlic, and then I come down here. Okay, I'm hitting the Publix brand. Let's go to the next shelf. Okay, that's mid, so that's a different one. Classico 4 cheese. Well, there it is. So it's probably a little easier for me to read the shelf tags because when I worked at Market Basket in New Hampshire, stocking the shelves, I had to make sure everything went into those exact spots. Well, you, as a customer or as an Instacart shopper, can look at that yourself and pretty well figure things out pretty quick. Now, a lot of things are abbreviated, so after a little while, you start to recognize what those abbreviations mean, and that will help you determine whether the item truly is available or not and help you fish around to find those items. So after you've figured out that you've got the right spot for that item and either the shelf is empty or maybe you're just not finding that tag at all, go find an associate, assuming one can be found. And then when you do talk to them, they're going to say, oh, well, it's up in this aisle here. And so say, well, I didn't find it. You know, I looked, the space is empty for that. Or I didn't even see a shelf tag for that. When you say that, I didn't see a shelf tag for that, they'll know that you tried very hard and that you know a little bit of what you're talking about. So at that point, they're really eager to try to help you out because to them, it's like solving a mystery. Why isn't there a shelf tag there? and then they go try to find out. They can either check their inventory on their phone as they can in Publix. And sometimes the item is in stock, but it just hasn't been put on the shelf yet because it's a new item that hasn't been allocated shelf space yet. At which point either the associate or the department manager can go find it for you and be able to bring out that item, and then you can fulfill that part of the order. And it also gives you a chance to shine in the customer's eyes saying, hey, this item that you ordered, it's a new item. They hadn't put it out yet on the shelf, but I did ask for help on that, and they got it for you. A lot of times the customer is really appreciative when you do ask for help in finding an item. Now, I tell you to take these extra steps because I know many of you are still focused on speed and trying to get your seconds per item down, or you're trying to beat the goal on that timer that's in the lower right corner of your screen when you're shopping an order. Again, that timer is not your make or break in getting to see batches. It is a factor, I believe, but not a huge factor. My experience has been that as long as I'm under 100 seconds an item, I'm still able to see very good batches. Now, I've been an Instacart shopper for 16 months, and when I started out, I was about 140 seconds an item. Then that kept whittling down, and I noticed when I dropped below 100 seconds an item, I was able to start seeing a lot more batches. And it's been consistent then, because now anywhere around 80 seconds an item either side of it is what my average is. And that's, again, with taking my time on things just like this. And don't forget too, there's that category where customers rate you on finding items. So that should be your motivation to make sure that you find the correct item without refunding it or just replacing it, because that is a big part of your ratings. So I hope you have a very good weekend coming up. I hope you do get lots of batches and you make lots of money. And I hope a few of my tips will help you along the way. And if you found this useful, I would appreciate a like. And also, if you really like these videos, please subscribe so you don't miss more of my tips for bigger tips and better ratings. I'm Brian, Instacart Bulldog. Until next time, go get 'em!